so caught up in the day-to-day, just keeping your head down and having to survive. We float by each other like ghosts every day. We go into the struggle, the fight with one another, complacent with the fact that our systems are broken, with the fact that the top 10 will always be first in line, the fact that we are killing our planet and allowing them to keep us divided. We must stand together and rise up. It's time we wake up, and that is a difficult truth.
Hey everyone, Carlos here from ADifficultTruth. Welcome to the ADifficultTruth podcast. Thank you so much for joining us here on this Sunday day. It is currently raining like crazy out here in beautiful South Florida. Broadcasting live, where the only answer to the question of how's the weather there is hot. I mean, it is burning up here. We're gonna go over a couple of different headlines. I mean, honestly, to be honest, there's nothing really being focused on the media right now, with the exception of some back-to-back mass shootings. So I think we're gonna have to just address that again, because in my last stream, we spoke about another mass shooting that happened, and it's just insane. It's just absolutely insane that we have these just back to back mass shootings. I mean, what is it really gonna take for anyone to do anything about it? Our lawmakers are just sending their thoughts and prayers, which doesn't do anything. And if you just go on Twitter, you'll see all the thoughts and prayers that are being sent, but no legislation, not even an attempt to figure out how to basically slow this horror. I mean, honestly, it's tragic. It's a tragedy, and what's more tragic is that none of our legislators are really doing anything about it. I don't care what party they're on. None of them have done anything except send thoughts and prayers. The first thing, I saw this yesterday on the news, on CNN, on Fox, was at a Walmart in El Paso, Texas. A guy, I'm never going to put the names of these people up, but a guy went in there and killed about 20 people and injuring, according to CBS News, injuring more than about 24 others. Wow. I mean, that's just crazy. And to think that we still do not have an adequate system to address this issue is just disgusting. Again, I have said this in my previous stream that I am pro Second Amendment. However, there's got to be some kind of common sense, and there's got to be studies to address the root of this issue. Because, yes, guns in themselves do not kill people, but people have access to these guns, and people kill people. And we have to address the issue of whether or not this is an increase in mental health, a decline, if this is, I don't know, poorly written legislation, a combination of both. What exactly is allowing this to continue? What is it? And then not even 24 hours later, there is another mass shooting in Dayton, Ohio. This one killed about 9 people, according to CNN, and according to the Times as well. And that's just been basically hijacking the news cycle back to back. I mean, it's just really sad. And I saw a tweet that said it's incredible how when I asked for when I asked for updates on this mass shooting, law enforcement had to confirm which one. I mean, we just had one at a garlic festival, I believe, last week, and then there was another one a couple of days before that. There's one yesterday. There's one today around 1 a.m. in Dayton, Ohio, where a guy armed with an assault rifle approached downtown in the Ned Pepper's bar in downtown Oregon and just decided to lit up the place. And mind you, police responded according to the news. Police responded about a couple of minutes, and they were able to stop this guy. They killed him in less than a minute, actually, according to the article. And he still killed 9 people. So it just goes to show that even if there was a good guy with a gun, 9 people still died. And let me tell you something. I do not prescribe to the idea that always a good guy with the gun is the solution to the bad guy with the gun. You're just a target. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is. Or if police get there, all they know is that there is a shooter on the loose, or maybe multiple shooters, and if they see you, they might get the wrong guy. But that's just my opinion on that. I don't really subscribe to the idea that 100% of the time the answer is a good guy with a gun. I mean, we could implement some kind of common sense gun control, maybe better background checks, maybe mental health evaluations. We have to do something, because this just cannot go on. I mean, how many people have to die? And this just keeps growing and growing and growing without any seemingly without end. But those are just basically the headlines that have been hijacking the news 24/7. It's just these 2 mass shootings back to back. I mean, nothing else that is of any importance in my opinion. It's just extremely, extremely sad. And it's just another reason why we have Moscow Mitch blocking any type of legislation when it comes to comprehensive background checks and things like that. So, I mean, our lawmakers can claim that they want to solve the problem, and they might say that they want to do this or that, but the reality is, without Moscow Mitch putting up things to votes, whether or not it passes, it's irrelevant. Just putting it up to a vote is also to be noted. And again, this guy's up for re-election in 2020. If you're tired of inaction, if you're tired of Moscow Mitch just not doing what's right for the country, not doing what's right for Kentucky, make sure you vote him out in 2020. This guy's just truly, truly disgusting. But as we get into the main topic of the day, which is going to be healthcare, I want to point you guys to this here in our actual Twitch page. If you go to our channel, I'll go ahead and bring this up here. Just bear with me one moment. I'll bring this up here. If you guys go to our Twitch page or Twitch channel, you'll see that there's a donate button. If you click on that donate button, it takes you to the National Multiple Sclerosis Society. This is a great charity, super respected and super credible. If you guys have a moment to check that out, or maybe even chip in a couple of bucks, that would be really appreciated. It's not anything to do with me or anything to do with myself. I'll go explain in a second. But it's just something that, again, I'll explain in a second, that I feel really strongly about. Even if you can't chip in a couple bucks, why don't you go ahead and share that link and spread the word out, because not a lot of research is being done on this, or not as much research is being done on this multiple sclerosis. So If you guys want to check out the webpage, it's in our donate button. It takes you straight to the donation, but you can just check out all the information that they have here. It's pretty cool. So just make sure you click on the donate in our Twitch channel page. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, head on over to Twitch, join the conversation. If you guys are listening to the podcast on SoundCloud, the links to my Twitch page and to the YouTube page will be there in the SoundCloud description as well. So make sure you guys check that out. It's for a good cause. Which brings me to the main topic of the day, which is healthcare. Healthcare is something that I feel very strongly about. It's right next to, it's right in the same realm of importance, in my opinion, as getting money out of politics, climate change, and things like that, affordable education. It's just one of the main reasons why, again, I joined the progressive movement, is because I truly believe in universal health care, a national health care system, Medicare for all, whatever you want to call it, whatever type of nationalized health system is what I'm in favor of. Because healthcare, as Senator Sanders has stated, is a human right. And the idea that you want to put a price tag on human health, on human quality of life, is just absolutely disgusting. I think that is one of the huge criticisms of capitalism, in my opinion, because I do believe that capitalism has a space in society, but not in everything. You cannot put a price on people's health. How is it possible that Senator Bernie Sanders had to take a bus full of people to Canada to get insulin, something that is vital to their quality of life, where it is 10 times cheaper? It's just disgusting. I think that, in my opinion, healthcare insurance companies do not have a place in society, do not have a place in capitalism at all. At all. They just don't have a place. Look, I've spoken about this before. You can insure your car, you can insure your laptop, you can insure, I don't know, your house, your gaming consoles, whatever. And that's perfectly fine. You can even have a insurance policy for after you're gone, to leave your family some kind of financial backing or some kind of financial support. But to put a price on your health while you're still alive and make it so that you have to choose whether or not you want to undergo this procedure or take this medicine or go bankrupt is ridiculous. And I was honestly going to make this episode on mental health, because that's just another topic that's kind of been in the background of my mind, and I've kind of just been keeping that in the pocket. But I've been going through some IRL stuff, and if you guys don't know, my girlfriend has MS, which is why I constantly post that charity up, because I do think it's something that is very personal to me. My girlfriend has MS, and recently she got one of those MS flare-ups that happen ever so often, thankfully to a medicine that's been developed to kind of slow those things down. Without that, they would be happening much more constantly, and the damage would be just worse. Do you want to know how much one of a month's supply of that vital medicine that is crucial to her having a more normalized quality of life? The price tag is about $8,000 a bottle, which is a month's supply. If you want to break that down even further, I'll go ahead and show you. And it's just truly disgusting in my opinion. So if we take 8,000, right? That's just how much it is a month, and you have to take two pills, two pills a day, right? Hey, welcome, Sam Cedar. Hi, thank you so much for joining the stream. I love the name. I love the name. Sam Cedar says, "Are you a conservative?" No. I consider myself to be more on the progressive side. I agree with a lot of the progressive values, so I just consider myself a progressive, definitely left-leaning. But thank you so much for joining on the stream. How's it going? So if we want to just take an idea of how much it would cost, so you're oh man, hey, listen, bro. Hey, thank you so much for the follow. Thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate it. So if we take that into divided by 15, because you got to take 2 pills a day, that's how much each one of them costs. That's how much each one of them costs for you as a patient of MS have to pay if you would just not have insurance, not have any kind of financial backing or anything like that. That's just pure a pure cost. That is absurd. That is absurd. There should be absolutely no reason why someone has to pay that amount to live some kind of a decent quality life. It's just absurd. Absurd, ridiculous, shameful. The reality is, healthcare is something that definitely needs to be addressed. It is one of the top issues that no one seems to be really serious about. And unfortunately, that goes also for some of the Democratic candidates as well. You have Joe Biden still attempting to save Obamacare, or save or shill for Obamacare, thinking that that's still gonna work. There is no place for insurance companies. There's just no place for profit insurance companies. Sam Cedar says, "So you're a libtard?" Yes, absolutely. I'm quite interested though. Did you select that name on purpose? just asking. So there's just no room for for-profit insurance companies, because they are there for one reason and one reason alone, which is to make a profit for their shareholders. That is literally the only thing that a company, a for-company profit is there for. It's just crazy that we would entrust our healthcare to a company that's only there to make a profit. That is the reason why they skip out on certain things. They try to cut corners wherever they can, and the only people that end up paying the price are the patients. And that just can't be. That just absolutely can't be. If you want to talk about healthcare, it's gotta be nationalized. It just has to be. Not that a government health plan would just be the miracle solution or anything like that, but it would definitely be 1,000,000,000 times % better than a for-profit system. I mean, you have people cutting up pills just so that they can try to make it through the month without having to pay a bunch of money for medicine that they desperately need. You have people, and I'll just use anecdotal evidence. We have, I mean, my girlfriend was considering leaving the hospital because she didn't want to stay another night because of the cost. I mean, she wasn't sure how the insurance companies would deal with that, or if they would even assist. I mean, it's just sad and frustrating and angering that in 2019, the United States, the most powerful country in the world, the richest country in the world, still has not caught up to the rest of the Western world, where they do have some kind of socialized medicine. I mean, the arguments against it are just weak. The arguments against some kind of socialized healthcare, some kind of Medicare for all plan, some kind of national health system are just weak. I mean, you have, again, even Democrats saying, like, for example, Joe Biden saying people are going to be losing their insurance companies. People are going to be kicked out of their healthcare plans that they supposedly love. Another one I've heard is that, oh, it's going to cost a lot of money. It's going to cost too much money. And every time I hear that, it's like, so yes, it is going to cost money. Yes, it is going to raise taxes. But those are just right-wing talking points. What they don't talk about is people love, Sam Cedar says, people love their private insurance. Yeah, they love private insurance just as much as they love being sick, to be quite honest. They love private insurance when it works, but the fact is that what happens when your insurance company says, we don't cover that. Good luck. Sorry. I mean, that's just a weak argument. I'm sorry. People love their private insurance. No, they don't. They love their doctors. They love the care that they receive at the hospital or at the clinic. But no, I severely doubt that anyone loves haggling with private insurance. I'm going to have to go through that. We are going to have to go through that. So don't tell me that people love their private insurance. I had another friend who went to Broward General and had to literally get a lawyer because her insurance and the hospital and all this other administrative nonsense did not want to cover anything. And on top of that, they almost killed her. On top of that, not only did they want to bill her for the entire hospital stay, but they almost killed her. It took literally a lawsuit to get that resolved, and that's just wrong. And even on the doctor's perspective, why would a doctor want to sit there and do hours of paperwork for insurance companies? And it's just a hassle. Insurance companies are a hassle. They don't need to be there in terms of health. In terms of healthcare, they can be there insuring cars or insuring, I don't know, houses, property, whatever. And I work for an insurance company. I just don't sell health insurance. I would never sell health insurance. But I understand the game. It's only there to cut corners to make profit for shareholders. Sorry. It does not have a room for healthcare. It does not have a room in society. And again, the idea that people love their private insurance is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. The other thing is that, it's too expensive. Yeah, also, going bankrupt because you needed life-saving care is expensive. And if you can't pay for it, guess what? Everybody else ends up footing the bill anyways. co-pays, deductibles, medicine, all that costs a lot of money anyways. So at the end of the day, it ends up saving money if you just get your taxes raised up a little bit and you have access to a universal healthcare system. Just that's facts. That's just economic reality. It costs about, from what I understand or from what I've seen, about 30 something trillion dollars, $32 trillion, and it ends up saving about $34 trillion. So you have a net gain of $2 trillion, but nobody really talks about that. And if you really want to talk about how we pay for this kind of for this kind of stuff, it can be paid for the same through the same methods that we pay for unnecessary wars, unnecessary tax cuts for corporations that don't need them. I mean, it is very, 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 very doable. To tell me that you can't, that this country cannot do it is ridiculous. So let's go through another argument that people love to do against Medicare for all is that it's gonna knock people off insurance. Yeah, it is. It is gonna knock people off insurance because everybody's going to have it automatically. You don't need to worry about your insurance company anymore, your health insurance company. You're gonna have access to healthcare no matter where you go. It's universal, which also defeats the argument of, oh, well, are people going to have to give up their doctors or are people going to have to give up, their hospital that they like to go to? No. It's going to take away their choice of where they want to go. No, it expands their choice because you get to choose wherever you want to go. You get dictated by private insurance where you can and cannot go. In universal healthcare, you'd be able to choose wherever the heck you want to go. And if you like your doctor, you go to that doctor. It's just plain and simple. I mean, that's just a weird argument, in my opinion. But yeah, no, definitely people do not love their private insurance company. I mean, I'm hoping that's a joke, because I'm telling you right now, we're gonna have to go through that. And this is my my favorite. The long wait times that are months and months and months for people that have some kind of universal healthcare system are just too much and whatever. That is true. That is true in some cases. You have some provinces in Canada where wait times are excessive. That is true. But overall, you are able to get the care you need based on urgency. And for the most part, it does work as smooth as it needs to be, because first of all, it's dependent on the province that you live in. Some provinces have more resources in Canada than others. And it's also on need basis. If you need a surgery that's not life-threatening, yeah, there might be a couple weeks of waiting time. If you need something that is urgent and life-threatening, you will get it. You will get it. I had a friend, again, I know this is just anecdotal evidence, but I had a friend who went to England as a U.S. citizen. He is both English and U.S. citizen, and they had absolutely no problem seeing him. He got more care in that one sitting than he did here, going through all these hoops of trying to figure out what the insurance will do for him, what it won't, how much is it going to cost. It's just ridiculous that someone's quality of life has a dollar amount. And that is my real issue with private health insurance. I know I said it at the beginning of the stream, but it's just seriously, how can you put a price on a person's life, on a person's health? It just makes no dang sense. It is immoral. It is just not in any way right. And if we want to progress, if we want to give people more freedom, then we have to start, or one of the things that we can do is to have some kind of universal health system, Medicare for all, whatever you want to call it, however you want to implement it. I'm not too particular. I don't care what you call it, but you got to give people that freedom, that relief of, if you get sick, you're not going to go friggin' bankrupt. I mean, and the freedom to be able to choose whatever job you want, because you don't have to depend on your employer to give you health care, is imperative, I think, to move society forward. I had a discussion with my parents about healthcare, and they're like, well, my parents are a little more conservative, so I have these discussions a lot, and it's very interesting because they get to hear my point of view, and I get to tell them what I think and how I feel. And sometimes, even though we may not always agree, we kind of meet in the middle. But we had a discussion on this very thing, on healthcare, and my mom was saying, people, I like my health insurance. Oh no, she was saying, I don't have health insurance because I don't want to pay for it, but I also don't want the government dictating what to do with my life. And I thought that was a bit funny, because the government is not really dictating what you're gonna do. The government is just simply saying, you have this public basically option, and the government is not telling you have to go to this particular doctor, you have to go to this particular hospital. The government is just saying everybody has it, it's covered through taxes, and that's the end of it. Private insurance companies tell you what to do. I mean, they tell you who you can and cannot go to. They tell you what kind of medicine is covered. They tell you what kind of procedures are covered and how much of it is covered. So the idea that somehow the government is going to be more restrictive in the sense, it's going to be more restrictive in the sense that they're telling you what to do and taking away that choice, is not an argument, because the private insurance companies already do it. And it's like, well, then that means I have to pay more in taxes. Yeah, you do. But whether you like it or not, you're going to be paying somebody. You're going to be paying these private insurance companies in deductibles, in co-pays, in premiums on top of that, and in medicine. So whether you pay a little bit more in taxes, or whether you pay these corporations who are for profit, they do not, let's be clear. Let us be clear. These private health insurance companies they just cannot have your healthcare in mind. They just cannot have your healthcare as a priority because it just doesn't bring in as much profit. They have to squeeze every single cent that they can, and if that means denying you an MRI that you desperately need, so be it. If that means that your insulin is not covered, too bad. If your hospital deductible is $500, you gotta be sure you have $500 to go to even go to the emergency room. Most people, what's the statistic? About 40% of people cannot afford a $400 emergency. Our emergency room deductible, or the I don't know how you call it, payment, whatever. The insurance company charges you automatically $500 for being admitted to the ER. Automatically. Imagine if we did not have the financial stability to deal with this. Imagine if we couldn't handle that. I mean, we'd be bankrupt. We'd be bankrupt because that's now 3 days, I believe, about to be 3 days in the hospital. I can't imagine how much that costs. I'd say in the thousands and maybe almost to the tens of thousands. I don't know, because you have to get an MRI, you have to do blood work, you have to receive medication. I mean, it's just crazy. It's just honestly crazy, immoral, disgusting. It just blows my mind that we still think that it is okay to put a price tag on your health. And people are okay with this. And people are okay with this. My mom is okay with it. My mom is not even paying for health insurance. And I told her, God forbid something happened to you, because you'd be paying full price. You'd be paying full price if you fell, if you got sick. And depending on the nature of that disease, that's bankruptcy. That means selling your home. That means taking a huge chunk of what you worked for, of what you slaved away your life for. You have to give that up. I mean, that's just this dystopian AF, for lack of a better word. My family owns a few properties. So you best believe in a medical emergency right now, without insurance, they would have to give some of that up. Some of that they worked their whole lives for up. Because they don't have, because my mom in particular doesn't have insurance. My dad only has insurance through his employer. Imagine that. Imagine when he retires, he would have to make sure Medicaid kicks in, Medicaid kicks in, and be taken care of that way. But which is basically universal healthcare for seniors. And this is not revamping the entire system. This is not just hitting the reset button on our healthcare system. This is taking something that already works, that has over 70% approval with the public, and expanding it to everybody. That's all this is. Medicare, the groundwork for Medicare is already there. The system is already there. You just have to expand it to cover everybody. Or again, I don't care if it's called Medicare for All or National Health System, Universal Health System. I don't care what it's called. But any type of system like that, like they have in Europe, England, Canada, Sweden, any of those type of systems would work infinitely better than our private health insurance corporation that are literally killing people and forcing people to have a lower quality of life for fear that they won't be able to afford it. That's a tragedy. That's a tragedy. Yes, there are criticisms for universal health insurance or Medicare for all or whatever. It's not a perfect system. None of those systems are. But they're infinitely more moral than what we have here. And this private healthcare system is broken. It is beyond broken. It is beyond broken. I don't understand why our leaders do not implement something that over 70% of people would be fine with. And they're always trying to spin the narrative that this is only gonna raise taxes, that this is only going to kick you off private health insurance, that this is going to get rid of the insurance that the unions fought so hard to get their workers, without disclosing the gross cost of private health insurance, the gross cost that just a single pill, as I showed you, as we did the math together, of a single pill costs. It's just gross. It's just gross how they twist that, and how health insurance companies lobby millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars just to keep themselves from getting the axe. Because honestly, they should be gone. And there should be no insurance company selling health insurance. Period. Full stop. In my opinion. It is truly sad that in 2019 we have to choose, in the era of technology, in the most richest country in the world, the most powerful country in the world, the country that can bring resources from anywhere, that there are citizens living in this country that have to choose between bankruptcy or a medical treatment. There are people here living in this country that have to that are considering the decision of whether or not they should stay another day in the hospital. That they should stay, that whether or not they should stay another day in the hospital for treatment that they might desperately need because it might cost too much. The insurance might not cover it. Who knows? That is a really sad state that we're here in 2019 in the richest country in the world, in the most powerful country in the world. That is the state that we're living in. I thought that Donald Trump was going to solve this issue. I'm kidding. He said that, but of course, he's a liar. And anyone who thinks that he would solve this issue is just blind. I apologize, but that's just facts. He claims he was crying about giving health care to illegal immigrants without even giving health care to U.S. citizens. Well, Trump, you're in power. You have the option of doing that. You have the power to make moves to maybe give insurance to U.S. citizens, to people who pay taxes, to people who have social security numbers, who people who pay into Medicare for when they're older. But that's all a lie. I don't think he ever intended on fixing the system. Sure as heck good talking about it. Sure as heck good at pointing out the problems. But never moved a finger to do it. This is a broken system. This is a system that needs to be changed, that needs to be updated, that needs to be for the people, that needs to take care of the citizens of this great country. Because I do think that we can do better. I do think that we have the resources to take care of our people, our citizens, Americans. I do think that we have the potential to be a leader, a world leader in universal health. Be a leader in having the most comprehensive healthcare plan that covers 320 plus million people. I think that we can do it, but without any moves from our leaders, none of that's getting done. Without getting these disgusting health insurance companies out of Washington, out of lobbying our politicians, it's never going to be done. How do you expect any of these politicians to be truly in favor? Any of them, and I'm speaking on both the corporate Democrats and the Republican side. How do you expect any of them to truly address this issue when they are being bought and paid for big health insurance, big pharma? None of that's ever going to change unless either we get money out of politics or we vote them out. We have the power. There's more of us than there are special interest donors. That's just facts. We can get out there and we can demand that our representatives, that our leaders do something. And if they don't, then see ya next time. You want to keep your job? Cool. Then do the will of the people. Simple as that. You're a public servant. If over 70% of the people are in favor of something of the sort of Medicare for all or universal health system, then it is your job that you were hired to do, that you were elected for, to implement that, or at least have a discussion and attempt to pass that through legislation. But nobody's doing that because they're being bought and paid for by the insurance companies, bought and paid for by big pharma. So one of those things either has to happen. Either we get money out of politics, or we, the people, collectively, together, get up and vote these people out. Doesn't matter what party they're from. Doesn't matter what party they're from. That is the only way change is gonna be done. Otherwise, we're just gonna sit here and pay millions and millions of dollars collectively out of pocket for our lives. That's just plain and simple. That's just plain and simple. Anyway, guys, unfortunately, that is all the time I have today. Quick things before I go. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make sure you go ahead and follow us on Twitter and be a part of the discussion, or just tweet me out. Make sure you also like us on Facebook. All the links are in the channel page. And again, I'll bring this up here for you guys. And if you're listening on SoundCloud, again, the links will be in the description. If you're watching this on YouTube, the links will be in the description below. Let me go ahead and pull this up again. If you guys go to the Twitch channel page, you'll see that there's the donate button there. Make sure you click it. Make sure you check it out. It's the National Multiple Sclerosis Society. I'll keep making a note of that every stream. It's a really good charity, very credible charity. Make sure if you have a couple bucks, consider sending some money their way. This is not to benefit me directly. This is for the National Multiple Sclerosis Society. The link goes directly to the donation page, but you can also check out all the information that they have on MS and all the information that they have for themselves. This is for MS research, which is highly important. So make sure you guys go ahead and check this out. And again, if you guys have a couple of spare bucks, throw it their way. And if you don't, consider sharing this link. Consider making this known to more people. So that also helps to spread this link out, spread all this information. It does help. You don't have to donate, but getting the message out there does help as well. So make sure you check the link there. Make sure you also follow us on SoundCloud. I'll go ahead and give you all the links here. Make sure you go ahead and also check out our SoundCloud where we upload this podcast every week. That's soundcloud.com/ADifficultTruth. Again, make sure you follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/ADifficultTruth. You can like us on Facebook at facebook.com/ADifficultTruthOfficial. Make sure you smack that like button here. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you're watching this on YouTube, like, comment, share, do all that awesome stuff. It really does help the channel. And also, if you are tired of seeing mainstream media on your suggestions, do yourself a favor, and every time you get suggested mainstream media and you do not wish to see it, make sure you go over here and click that not interested button and keep your algorithm straight and narrow for independent media, and it helps every other independent independent creator also. So just make sure, if you don't want to see any more mainstream media suggestions, just click on that not interested every time you get suggested that. It really helps your algorithm to keep on suggesting only independent media if you are tired of seeing pesky mainstream media. Anyway, guys, unfortunately, that is all the time I have today. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I hope to see you guys in the next stream. See ya!
Divided. must stand together and rise up. It's time we wake up, and that is a difficult truth.